Welcome to Financially Focused, where the holistic approach to financial planning is critical to you setting your financial table and meeting your goals. Remember what that table is? It's the first leg is your income. The second leg of your financial plan are long-term goals. The third leg of your very strong financial planning is your mindset, and your fourth leg of your strong financial planning is protection, which covers debt elimination and insurance, because you don't want something with 3 legs, 2 legs that's gonna fall. Now, many of us were guided by biblical principles in creating wealth. And in this episode, we're gonna look at the spiritual side of economic growth and well-being. Now, economic growth is one part leadership and one part strategy. So we are so honored to have Reverend Michelle Senegal, Senior Minister of the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. Now, Reverend Michelle is also the president of Management Dynamics, Inc., a consulting firm specializing in diversity, equity, and inclusion strategies and training. But she's not done, because Reverend Michelle is also an author and a certified life coach. So you can imagine Reverend brings a holistic viewpoint to both church management and economic well-being. So welcome, Reverend Michelle.
Thank you.
Now here's the thing, your website says you're bivocational, but I think I just read 4. So you may need to change.
I may need to update it.
Yes.
I wasn't an author when I created the website.
Okay, all right. Now, in this conversation, we really want to touch on both the whole person, and the spiritual body of the church in terms of economic well-being. Okay. All right. So first up, as a woman leading a spiritual community, talk to me about, and in terms of dollars and cents, because we're a financial planning show.
Yes.
Community outreach. Does it make sense for me to go to work 9 to 5, save and do all of that, but then take my time to go in the community? I'm tired. Does it make economic sense?
Oh, absolutely, it makes economic sense. And not only can you tithe of your talent, and that means going out into the community, but you can also tithe of your treasure. Mm-hmm. And so that's
I can just write you a check.
Well, yeah, you can write me a check.
Yeah.
It is tax deductible.
Yeah.
It does reduce your tax liability. Mm. And so that's one of the practices that I encourage my congregations to engage in. They don't necessarily understand that tithing and giving to the place of your spiritual nourishment, it has very practical implications for you. And so I tithe on the gross. Why do I do that? It's because it reduces my tax liability. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a generous tither. Okay. And so that means that I look forward to getting refunds most years, as opposed to having a tax liability. Mm-hmm. And so if people just were very focused on, how is this going to help me personally? That's one financial strategy that I strongly encourage people to engage in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, leadership in the church requires management of resources.
Yes.
A lot of churches use many, many tools to do fundraising. Mm-hmm. What is your view? I know you personally, so I know you love music.
Yes.
So what is your view of music as a fundraising tool? And again, should I, an ordinary working person, budget for this as entertainment?
Absolutely. I believe that you should budget for entertainment, because entertainment also feeds your soul.
Okay.
Right? And so when you're happy, when you're enthusiastic about life, then you thrive. Mm-hmm. And so music is one of the ways in which people experience joy.
Right.
And so I say, build into your budget entertainment so that you can keep your vibrational level high. Your vibrational level is what, or the way in which you experience life. So you can vibrate at very, very high levels, and what that means is you're happy. You enjoy what you're doing, and you're just much more vital. And then, if you vibrate at lower levels, then the reverse is also true. So absolutely allocate funding for your entertainment as well.
Mm-hmm. And this is also helping to grow the spiritual community that you're a part of.
Absolutely, because music is an attractor. So if you think about the billions of dollars in the music industry, you can just isolate it to inspirational and gospel music. Many people will attend concerts. And so not only is it a fundraiser for the spiritual community, it's a way to uplift people's spirits and ultimately their vibration.
Okay. Controversy.
Okay?
All right. Economic growth, wealth creation, investing, money, cash.
Yes.
These words, yeah, make a lot of spiritual people uncomfortable.
Yes.
Right? Persons will say, you just love money. Or the opposite, I hate money. What is your view as a spiritual leader on the role of churches, temples, synagogues, mosques? What is your role in the various ways people worship in helping them to grow economically? Or is it separate? Should you go and be spiritual here and then only think about money when you're at the bank?
No, it's not separate. In my assessment, everything is spiritual, including money. And I, as I said before, I think that people have some old ideas around money and the need to suffer and not have it. But what we know is that you need money to do anything.
But
in
should
this
my
world.
banker pray for me?
No, but you should pray for your banker.
Oh, I should pray for my banker? Really? Really? Why?
Well, you want to elevate the consciousness of anybody who is interacting with your finances.
Right.
You want them to bring their highest acumen, their highest skill to your investment if they're investing for you and advising you on sound investments. So from a biblical perspective, we're supposed to be good stewards of our money. And so being good stewards of our money is knowing, number one, where it goes. Number two, putting our money to work for us.
Right.
All right. So as I said, money is a tool. It's a way to generate passive income if you know how to invest and if you're in it for the long term, not for the
But it's not
the quick
sinful
hit.
to have my mind on money?
Well, it's not that your mind is focused on money.
This would be financially focused, though.
Yeah, but you ought to be financially focused as well as being spiritually focused. As I said, there's no dichotomy between the two. I see them all being a part of the same thing. And so I want to be a good steward of my money. So I pay attention to what I buy, what purchases I make, where I invest, save, and also paying myself.
Okay. Well, then, along that same line, abundance and prosperity versus scarcity and suffering as a way of life. Many persons say the abundance and prosperity gospel tricks people into thinking they can get rich now, and if they're rich, that means God loves them, and if they're not rich, that means God don't love them. On the other hand, the scarcity and suffering is also saying this is great, the meek shall inherit the earth, and it's okay to be humble and poor. These two ideas seem to be, at cross purposes. What are your views?
Well, I think that people manipulate scripture to their advantage. So I adhere to the philosophy that the Christ came so that we might have life and life more abundant.
Okay,
right?
We're going to touch on that.
So I ascribe to that theology, and that does not mean that we're not going to experience suffering. I think that we all suffer on some level because that's what we call life. I mean, it's this thing called life, and it's not always, everything is a bed of roses. So we have ups and we have downs, but it is again about mindset and how we respond to those ups and those downs. And so we suffer primarily because of our ignorance, right? And so even, financially, we can suffer because of the choices that we make. And so the consequences that we we live with as a result of the choices that we've made. So we also want to make good choices about our money. You know, where we spend it, how we spend it. What is our relationship with money? So, because you talked about some people, you know, hate money. Well, if they hate money, guess what? They're going to repel money. They're never going to have any. So what you want to do is you want to have a healthy relationship with money. And again, the scripture has been manipulated. It is not, you know, some people say that, you know, if you focus in on money, that is sinful, and that
mammon.
And all of that. No,
filthy mammon, filthy lucre.
See, the thing is, it's the love of money. The love of money is the issue. What we're talking about is, you know, money having a place in your life, but a proper place in your life. When money becomes your God, that's when it's problematic. But when you understand that money is just another resource, just another tool that we have available to us, and because until we start bartering with something else, it's just the way that we barter, right? And so it is important to make sure that you understand the source that's behind everything, you know, even your finances. So it's the love of money is the root of all evil when money becomes what you idolize.
Right. Okay. Still another controversial question.
Sure.
What should come first, tithing or saving for retirement in your budget? Yes.
Well, if it's my practice, tithe 10% off the top.
Okay.
All right. And afterwards, I still have 90% of what I have earned or what has come in, 90% to share, to enjoy, to invest. So I'm only giving 10% to the source of my spiritual community. That leaves me a lot to work with, a full 90%.
But what if I don't feel like I have enough?
Well, you know, so it's a misnomer. So what people don't understand is when you feel as though there is a lack or a deficiency in your financial situation, that's when you're supposed to give more.
What?
If you understand universal laws, as you give, you receive.
No, man, but I'm in a stressful job. My boss doesn't like me. I might be on the way out, and you want me to give more?
Yeah.
But that's what pastors say. I expect that of us.
No, what I say is really take the time to understand.
Okay.
To understand universal law and universal principle. So the thing that you want is you want to activate more money. You want more money to come into your life experience. As you give, you receive, and the give comes first. So when you are experiencing a deficiency or a deficit in your finances, that's when you give more. But you know what? It's counterintuitive for most people. What people go into is into scarcity mindset.
Yes,
I better hold on to what I have.
Tight.
As opposed to recognizing that if I keep this money in circulation, it's going to come back. Okay. It's going to come back in different ways, but it is absolutely going to come back because that's the law.
All right. So let's take a deep dive in my favorite sermon from Matthew 25, verses 14 to 30. And this is, you know, one of Jesus' most significant parables regarding work. And it's actually in the context of investments, So a rich man, he delegates the management of his wealth to his servants, right? And pretty much that's what you do when you go to the bank, right? You invest and you say, hey, banker, handle my money. So he gives 5 talents to one servant, 2 talents to the second servant, and 1 talent to the third. I'm sure all of us know the story, right? And we know what happened. So 2 of the servants, he gets 100% return on his investment. Okay? The third servant hides the money in the ground, does nothing with it. And the rich man rewards the 2 servants who give him 100% on his money.
Right.
And the third servant is punished.
Yes.
What are your views on really living a 10-talent life? Because in the parable, the first servant who got 5 talents turned it into 10. So that's what I'm saying. How do we be like become like that first servant and live that 10-talent life where we're getting 100% return on what we do?
Yeah. So again, it's all about faith. So those individuals, they weren't concerned about losing anything.
Okay.
Right. So the one individual in the parable is the one who hoarded. Yes. Because they're operating from a scarcity.
Yeah, the one that
mindset.
Put the money in the ground.
Right. That's fear-based.
Okay.
So that individual is very worried about, oh my God, if I spend any of this money, I'm not going to have any more money, as opposed to the other ones who understand, again, principle and universal law. They say, we got to get this money working for us. We've got to keep this money in circulation. And so they were the ones that were rewarded. And not only were they rewarded by the king, but just in life, they would have been rewarded as well. Mm-hmm. Again.
So what do we need to know to live that, 10-talent life? Well, just diving in that section of the book of Matthew. What are some of the lessons you would take from that? What is Jesus saying to us as investors?
Well, utilize your God-given gifts and your talents.
Okay, so use what you have.
So use what you have, all right? And appreciate what you have. So that's the gratitude piece.
So use it and be grateful.
And so understanding too that if you appreciate it, if you're grateful for it, it appreciates.
Okay.
Right? And so what that also means is you take care of your things, you take care of your investments, you take care of your property.
Maintenance.
So
use it, appreciate it, maintain it.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. And another practice is, of course, is making sure that you are a good steward of it.
Okay.
And you're not a spendthrift.
So you're not wasteful.
You're not wasteful. No. I do believe that people should have, creature comforts, but within reason. And so you want to make wise and sound investments. So one of the things that I see often is I see people buying a lot of things that are very trendy, that depreciate. Put your money, invest your money in assets that appreciate, so that you earn some passive income.
Right.
And invest in things that are of quality and that are going to last. So you may have fewer things and items, but the quality is there. And you're going to get a lot more use and leverage out of those things, as opposed to those things that you can dispose of very easily, and you have to dispose of because there's built-in obsolescence now in everything that we buy. And so that means that things automatically depreciate once you buy them. So, make the sound investments so that things hold their value longer. And then if you ever have to resort to utilizing or converting those investments into money equivalents, then they hold their value and you get back, minimally the initial investment and hopefully more because you've invested well and it's earned, it earned some interest.
Now, let's turn to another favorite verse, John 10, verses 10, that says, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. Now, there are some realities we have to face. Yeah. I don't like my job. I don't earn enough. I'm overworked. I don't like where I live. It's too small. I don't like my neighbors, I want a car, I'm taking the bus, or maybe I want a new car. I don't like the car I have. It's old, or I don't have enough clients. I don't earn enough. There's so many limitations that I have to live with. How is it possible for me to live abundantly?
It's a mindset. And so with that said, the limitations are self-imposed.
Really?
So-
No, it's a reality. I just don't have enough clients.
Okay, well, unless you are putting some time and some energy into, number one, satisfying the existing clients that you have, it's a basic business principle. It's a lot easier to get more business from happy, satisfied clients than it is to acquire new ones.
Yeah, but I don't like where I live.
Appreciate what it is that you have until you can move someplace else and do better. So it's basically the same thing.
So anything I tell you, you're going to answer me the same way. I need a car.
Okay, take care of the car that you currently have, right? Employ your talents to acquire more business from your happy, satisfied existing clients, and also work on getting new clients. But all the research will say, if you have clients who are already happy, they trust you, they're more inclined to spend more.
Okay.
So that's where I suggest that people spend their time and spend their energy, because going after prospective clients takes more money, takes more time, and it's not a sure thing.
What about if I'm employed and I hate my job? How do I live John 10:10?
Bring your highest and your best self for your job.
Okay.
Bring
But
it
they
to
don't
your job.
appreciate me.
Well, you stay there and you do your best until you can find a better situation. So I would simultaneously be looking for something else, but I would not compromise my productivity and the work that I'm doing currently, because I don't want to jeopardize what I already have, right?
Right.
So I'm going to bring my highest and my best self to that experience until I find a better and or different opportunity.
Wow. Thank you so much, Reverend Michelle.
You're
So
welcome.
to wrap up, really what you're saying is, in spiritual economics, that we've been talking about in this conversation, we're doing some really basic mind work, which is appreciation. Bringing your best to a situation regardless of how, maintaining what you have, caring for your community, budgeting for your spiritual upliftment,
And your entertainment.
and entertainment, giving back,
Absolutely.
right, and looking at what you have as your own talents and skills, and building on that.
Absolutely.
Wow. All right. My name is Denise Williams, and I am encouraging you to live your 10 talent life and visit our website, www.financiallyfocusedmedia.com. I'll see you again in the next conversation.